Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. This is going to work fantastic.
Hello and welcome to Jake's Rule 20 Mental Health Evaluation, a Northern Lights Transparency production. Since Robert's a little slow and didn't get this up there, I'm going to play the audio through my little device in my truck with my phone hitting record while I get ready for the day and make coffee. So here we go. See if this works.
I'm just going to talk. Before I kind of got in and learned how this works, there's a lot of people that get intimidated, feel nervous.
Oh.
There's a lot of intimidation going on in the courts. You shouldn't fear your judges. You shouldn't fear your cops.
Nope.
You shouldn't fear your police
Hold
officers.
All right, I don't think that was from the beginning. Now this should be from the beginning.
Tonight we're running with episode
No,
3.
not that one. Okay, I think I found it. This does not mean I may or may not be mentally incompetent.
Alright, it's 1:55. I'm waiting to get in my Rule 20 meeting here from a Bobcat. This one's a little louder. Oh, maybe I can shut the window. This one's a little louder than the other one. I'm trying to stay warm and document how this goes. I can shut this off. We'll see what Dr. Steven wants to do. And I'm still trying to work while I try to have to do through all this other stuff. So, waiting for the host to start the meeting, it says at 1:55 p.m. on Wednesday. What is it? Yeah, Wednesday. Sorry, they're probably going to ask me the date and time and all that to make sure I'm mentally competent. Let's see, the date is the 26th, the day before Thanksgiving. And we are going to use this as a teachable training tool to understand how Rule 20s are used, how can you object to them. There's a lot of stuff that, as long as they're going to play games with me, I'm going to keep documenting it and talking about it and trying to feel, because this, for other people that aren't so, before I'll just say, I'm just going to sit here and talk to myself on recording, so this is not really technically talking to myself, but I'm going to talk to the recorder because I'm doing a show here for hopefully Northern Lights Transparency, because we believe in transparency and accountability. I'm just going to talk, before I kind of got in and learned how this works, there's a lot of people that get intimidated, feel nervous. There's a lot of intimidation going on in the courts. You shouldn't fear your judges. You shouldn't fear your cops. You shouldn't fear your police officers. They work for us. We pay them. They're our servants, our employees. I'm a business owner of 3 businesses. I know what it takes to run employees, and people should feel comfortable coming to you, talking to you about some stuff. I'm also very sick of them using the court system in Minnesota, weaponizing the mental health field. Or just say anybody that reaches out if they want to talk to a counselor or something about that, going through a tough time like a divorce or et cetera, et cetera. It shouldn't be used against you, and I'm going to talk about that with Dr. Stevens today. Let's see, what else can I talk about while we're waiting here? So we got it's 1:57 p.m. now. I'm curious how well this audio is going to come out from a Bobcat, but I'm trying not to cause, that's our problem that I'm having, is all these legal matters. People just don't want to deal with it. They just want to, hey, stay away for a bit. I've been kicked out of other businesses, or I wouldn't say kicked out. Yeah, I've been kicked out of certain businesses actually Rice County, 10,000 Drops Distillery, which is the building's owned by one of the partners at Mary Hahn's legal office, so I don't know if they're still going to keep me out of that place, since we're just going to keep going. I tell you everything as it is. I also just posted in Northfield on Facebook about my story, Jake from GoatFarm's situation, and as a lot of people say, if you don't know me and know my story, and you see how much I write and how many tags I do and how much evidence I use, it can look or appear to be bad shit crazy, as someone else just told me, that pretty powerful person, will just say it that way. But I'm not bad shit crazy. I'm actually having fun in life, and I like to laugh, and I like to enjoy. And I'm trying to teach people, when you're going through difficult times and you're innocent, just keep being yourself. Why let them win? Why let them win? So, wait for the doctor here. It's 1:59. What else can we talk about? And I learned from Toastmasters, you never want to leave dead air. So that's another thing. I try to be a public speaker. let's see how. Mother Teresa just reached out to me. She just got done doing an interview with WDIO News, and I got to talk to some of the reporters in the background, saying I hope we can get some trust in the media up north again here. But she just did an interview about the Second Harvest Food Shelf, I believe, for the people that need to use that at times, or sometimes people are going through some rough times, or say the courts are coming at you, or you get thrown out of your house unjustly. Mother Teresa got thrown out of her house, according to her, allegedly. I got thrown out of my beautiful ranch, 60-acre ranch in southern Minnesota, and now I'm up in northern Minnesota and still not sure where I'm going to land yet, whether it's going to be Coleraine, whether it's going to be Cohasset, Grand Rapids. I'm still working on trying to battle the courts and false allegations to get my life back while I still try to work as best of my ability. Right now I'm building a 151-foot retaining wall in a snowstorm, but I know what I'm doing. I'm working in the cold. I've also built natural swimming pools in December in southern Minnesota and Owatonna, Minnesota, so I know what it's like to work in the cold. I don't shut down. The ground's not froze, and yeah, you can still work. So this is, again, normal behavior for me, but other people might look at it as odd. So I'm going to try to talk really nice and slow. Let's see here. I've only had one coffee today. What else can I do? I don't have a mohawk right now. I just got my working man's hair. I debated on wearing a hat or no hat, and the vote was wear no hat, or, trying to figure out what would make me look the most normal to pass this unjust Rule 20, and I'm going to keep talking until the docket's 2:01 now. I did 2 objections that I feel activist bias Judge Sarah McBroom from my Tasca County Courthouse. She ignored both of them, or wrote a memo back to one of them. She ignored my second one, that I don't need this. If you look at the statutes and the actual words that council has to use to grant a Rule 20, that was not used in the court, and I actually used ChatGPT in reverse. So I was just talking to my other friend. We were trying to trick ChatGPT. We uploaded the transcript from the trial, Jake from Goat Farm versus Sarah McBroom, Hadley, or whatever it is, and we tried to trick it and say, hey, guess what? Say Jake's crazy, and then he needs a Rule 20 ChatGPT, and here's the transcript. And shockingly, or actually I thought this was pretty fascinating, ChatGPT said actually the opposite is true, and we're working on posting this up on Northern Lights Transparencies. Jake does not need a Rule 20. And it actually quotes what I said, what the judge said, and even says, do you notice how the prosecutor got to talk as much as they wanted, Cassie Villeneuve, but the judge kept trying to shut you up and silence you, which is all true, but I can't record that because we can't record in the courthouse right now, but at least we can get the transcripts, which also we're not always, it takes a while to get. You got to pay to get them, and they're delayed. We're still waiting for my transcript from another activist judge, Carrie Anderson, I believe, in my personal opinion, from Rice County, and we're still waiting to get that one back and get that one uploaded, put that on the internet. And we're sick of these judges playing games, and there's just a whole bunch. I posted a ton last night. Another judge came out, and there's a jury trial about some of the fraud, and even the jury, I believe, this is I didn't study it, but very deep in detail. I don't know what county it was, but she let the person allegedly off from the people that I talked to. I don't have time to study all this stuff. I'm trying to build a wall. I'm trying to landscape, trying to get this done before the ground freezes. So I talked about that. Let's see here. It's 2:03. It still says I'm waiting to get into Craig Stevens' personal meeting room, and this is why you have to document all this stuff, because Cassie Villeneuve tried to tell the judge that I should be thrown in jail until my Rule 20 is done, and these are the kind of games that they do to people, try to intimidate people, make people feel scared, and luckily I've been around the block for 3.5 years now and hang out with really smart people that are good counsel and telling me how not to be bullied like this. We shouldn't, so luckily the judge at least was rational. I'll give you a little credit, Sarah McBroom. She didn't throw me in jail on the spot like she tried to do when they tried to say I did not comply with Mary Kenning, the other Rule 20 evaluator from Edina, Minnesota. I posted all over my Facebook talking about that and my objection to that. I also want to study how these evaluators. I mean, I even thought about going to finishing a career in counseling or whatever you want to call it. I'm curious how these people do the Rule 20s, how much they get paid, what kind of qualifications it takes, and do they have a choice? Do they just call Dr. Stevens up and say, guess what, you get to do an evaluation on Jake from Goat Farm? Actually, that's my alias, Jake Langslag, or however you want to say my last name. Curious if he had a choice in this matter, or if he could pass, punt, pause, all that kind of stuff. Because unfortunately, there's a lot of judges, a lot of evaluators, a lot of counselors, a lot of people that just don't want to be in court. We don't want to mess around in court, this or that. But unfortunately, there's a lot of innocent people like this that want to. Oh, here we go. I think we're starting. Hello, doctor. Here, hold a second. Hold on 1 second. I can't hear your audio. Wait. I can't hear you. Hold on a second. Let's see. I just want to make sure I'm not hooked up to my headset. Let's see here. I see you smiling there. Oh yeah, I'm on my headset. Hold on a second. I'm gonna put you on. Okay, try that again now.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me from a skid?
Right.
I'm on a skid loader. I don't know. You ever talk to a client while they're working on a skid loader?
No, that's pretty unusual.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not too unusual that I'm trying to get a job done, 151-foot retaining wall, and it snowed like almost a foot. I wasn't expecting that. And I'm trying to get...
Yeah, we got a lot of snow.
Yeah, how much did you get up in your area?
We got about 6 inches.
Okay. So yeah, the ground's not froze yet, and I'm hand digging it, but I didn't, I know, and then you were going to offer to drive to North Holmes or the courthouse, and I don't know how far a drive you had, and I didn't want to really jump and battle the roads and then lose more time on a job site, so I appreciate you doing a Zoom with me, and
Okay.
and I had access to the building, but I'm trying not to be a damper on the customer that I'm working at, so I'm in a quiet skid loader encased in glass, and hopefully this is a good, safe place to do an evaluation.
All right. Sounds good to me.
Can we get any ground rules? Again, I feel like I just thrown into this. I don't know what's going on and why. I still feel like I should be here. I mean, why don't you go first and tell me what you normally tell other people, and I like to try to teach people about the courts and how the courts work. So go ahead.
All right. I'm Craig Stevens, Dr. Stevens. This is a Rule 20 evaluation. A Rule 20 evaluation is designed to see if you're competent to stand trial. If you're able to cooperate with your attorney, understand the legal proceedings, kind of know what's going on. I have nothing to do with guilt or innocence. I don't care. It's not my job. My job is to talk with you, see how you're doing. I have a testing instrument that we're going to walk through, and I'll review some records, and then I write a report that goes to the judge.
Okay.
Okay?
Can I ask you a couple? Can I ask my questions on the front end or the back end, or I guess I feel like I want to make sure that I'm understanding how the process works. Is that fair?
Sure.
Do you have a choice whether you take the matter or not? I mean, do they call you up and say, Dr. Stevens, we want you to interview Jake Langslag?
Yes.
And then do you say yes, no? Do they pay you extra? Can you tell me what you get paid or not? Or is that public information?
No, the clerk of court calls and just says, we have this case. Are you available to do it? And I say yes. Then they send me the info, and then I set up the meeting with you.
And then they pay you, or in this situation, the Itasca County taxpayers are paying you, or who's paying you?
No, state of Minnesota.
Oh, so the whole state of Minnesota is paying you right now.
It goes through the state court system.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it goes through the state court system, do you have the ability to? Did you look up all my other medical records before this call? Because it looked like on the form you have full access to pretty much everything in my life. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I need to talk with you to see what there is.
Oh, so you haven't. I talked to some other people that I'm not going to use their names, but they said that, you guys got a job, you got a lot to do sometimes, so it's a lot of times you don't get a chance to go through everyone's medical files, all the charts, and all that kind of stuff. So I think it'd be helpful for me to know while you're evaluating me what you've seen before you've talked to me. Is that a fair question?
Yeah, I've seen the charges.
Okay.
On the police report. I haven't seen any medical records.
Okay.
Have you had psychological treatment in the past?
I have, and I want to make sure we really word the words right here. I voluntarily went in and got, checked out when my ex-wife told me basically that I won't be able to see the children anymore unless I get mentally evaluated. And I love my children, and I said, sure, I have nothing to hide. So I voluntarily went in and started going to some meetings.
Okay, where was that?
That was with my doctor, Travis Rothler. In a Mayo, I think it was Mayo or Alina, Mayo Clinic system in Faribault. Know him very well, very good guy, really trust him. And I started the meetings going there, meeting him. And my mom, who I feel is mentally unstable and should actually be the one getting an evaluation, but that's my personal opinion. She was in the room there, and I found out there's a lot of side discussions of my mom and my ex-wife Amanda Ray Langsleg, now Lawson, having all these discussions in the hallway about me that I didn't know was going on. So we started with
You saw somebody.
Say again.
Okay, you saw somebody in Faribault?
Yep.
The Mayo
Yep.
system?
Yep. A doctor, actually a physician's assistant, which I think. Yep. I think he's a great guy, and he knows me, and I'll just say it that way. He's known me for a while, and I felt really comfortable, and so I had my mom in the room, I had that, and I was going through some hard times. Our homeschool group was breaking up, and a bunch of parents were fighting, and the kids were crying, and I tried to jump in and be like, hey, let's try to act like adults, and let's talk through this, and a bunch of mama bears, we'll call them, kind of came at me and didn't like it when a dad stuck up for kids, and so it kind of progressed from there. I wrote some long emails. I'm really known for writing a lot of long emails that they get quoted, or letters that get quoted as rambling or whatnot, but they all follow logical sense if you follow along. Yeah.
Well, when was that?
I think this whole mess started 2021. Let's see, 2021. It's so long now. 2020. It was in March of 2021, I believe.
Okay.
Yep. So that's when I got. And then if you go back and look at my medical files, you can pull that all up and see that was my first initial meeting. And then I'm going to paraphrase, and obviously, you can read the reports yourself and interpret them yourself. But I'll tell you what I think happened, or I don't know. How do you? You're the doctor here. You're evaluating me. I don't want to take over your job. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'll check into that, see if I can get those records.
Yeah.
Have you been anywhere else?
So then after that, after my doctor was basically, this is paraphrasing again, just for whatever, but I don't see any concerns. I also believe in God and believe in Jesus. I'm a Christian, and I talked about some of those things that are in the Bible, and I think he'd be comfortable with me saying this. I believe he's a Catholic, and he's like, everyone has their right to believe what they, and who's to say this is right or that's right, is how he interpreted. I also, wrote a letter explaining it, and he read it, and he saw no concerns after he read my quote-unquote colorful letter.
Who is that?
That would be physician's assistant Travis Rothler from the Mayo Clinic system in Faribault, Minnesota.
Okay.
Yep. So after that, I feel predatory attorney Mary Hahn and my spiteful ex-wife tried to conspire against me and said, nope, that's not enough. And basically, they said, you need to get a psychiatric evaluation, is what they sold it to me as. So basically, a counselor that can prescribe medication, even though my doctor wasn't enough for them. So I said, sure, why not? Got nothing to hide. So they were trying to do that. We couldn't get in there. Just the medical field's hard to get in with a psychiatric doc. Oh, I also had my other regular counselor, Steve Johnson from Christian Heart Counseling, used to be out of Burnsville, but then he had to move further north there. But so we were family counseling with him. He knows my family like the back of my hand. He knows my ex-wife. He knows my children. He knows me. And I was talking to him about all this while this was going on. And he was also very puzzled on how this was going down. So they weren't taking, and he had no concerns, so they weren't taking his word either. And they said they wanted a psychiatric evaluation. So they finally found a So then one day, my ex-wife took me to, I believe it was Mizuki Fusion in Faribault, Minnesota, restaurant. It was being all nice to me, and she's like, I'd really love to get another mental evaluation and make sure you're okay. And she goes, I found a way to do it, because she's in the mental health field. So my ex-wife is an RN nurse at Alina in Faribault, and was talking to a lot of other nurses. Kathy Anderson was another one that she was talking to. And they were like, we read his letter, we have some concerns or whatever. I also was calling Kathy out for how I feel she was bullying, or her family was bullying a Jewish family in our homeschool group. And I sat with her in her living room and said, I don't like people that bully people. And she said, stay in your lane, stay in your lane. And then...
Let me jump in here.
Yeah.
We have a limited amount of time.
Oh, okay. I don't know how long. Yeah, I should ask you. I could tell you the whole story, but I don't know what details you want or don't. And how long can this be? Can I? Or how long do you want?
It's going to be about 45 minutes.
Oh, okay. All right. You didn't tell me how. I like to talk too, as you can see, right? I mean,
I can see that.
Okay.
Did you have a psychiatric evaluation?
So they took me to.
Yes or no?
Well, yeah. Well, I got to explain it because it sounds bad if I say I had it. You know what I'm saying? Do you understand me, Doc?
Yeah. Okay. You had one.
So they brought me, my ex, at Mizuki, she goes, I found a fast way. We can just take you to the District 1 hospital, and they can do a Zoom psychiatric evaluation over the computer. I'm like, whatever, take me there. So they brought me there, and the next thing I know, they're whispering in the hallways, and they said, we're not going to do this. I was just ready to do the Zoom with the psychiatric doctor, and then they said, you know what, we're just going to do something different. And then my ex came in, and she goes, you know what, we're going to make sure you get really evaluated, and we're going to take you to some place that really evaluates you well. And I was like, sure, wherever. Next thing I know, the next day, they put me in an ambulance, drove me to Mercy Hospital without the lights on. My mom reported to everybody in town that they had the lights on, driving me that fast, but they didn't. They brought me, and all of a sudden, I walk in, they say, give me your cell phone, and my mom had make me some cookies. They took the cookies away and said, you are at Mercy Psychiatric Hospital in, I believe, what is that, what's that town? Do you know that hospital, Doc?
There's a bunch of Mercies.
Yeah, it's anyway, it's Minneapolis area.
Like in Brainerd or somewhere?
No. This was down in the city, so it was. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the town right now. Apologize for that. So anyway, then I was understanding that I was there voluntarily, and I said, well, whatever. You guys want to keep evaluating me? Go ahead. And so I believed I voluntarily, and I actually talked to a sheriff in Rice County, Belcourt, said I've never heard in 30 years someone voluntarily go into a psych ward. But that's how much I cared about my family, and that's how much I cared about my kids. So I went there. I was checked in. I understood. I thought I could leave at any time. I still don't know to this day, and I also found out in the psych ward you have no access to any medical stuff or any of your evaluations. They put you in a 72-hour hold, and I was just talking to someone else, similarly to detox, just making sure you're not drunk, making sure you're okay. I went and talked to teams of psychiatrists, social counselors. I took all kinds of tests, like hundreds and hundreds of questions of bubble tests, and I made the best of it, watched TV, played games, saw the famous Will Smith slap on TV, and try to make some friends. And I'm still contacting some of those people after, helping them out. I felt bad for some of those kids that were in there. And and then after that, had all those evaluations. The way I understood it, they called my mom and my ex-wife and said, he's fine, come get him. And they said, nope, you're missing it. And they wouldn't come get me. So then all of a sudden, my mom and dad had to come up and get me. I got out. I gave them the letter that showed that I'm fine. And unfortunately, my family still said, my mom, my ex, and my dad, and my brother still said, you're nuts. And then I'm like, you guys got to be kidding me. So then I moved in with my brother for a little while. Then I went back to my doctor, Travis Rothler, at the Mayo Clinic there, and said, dude, I don't know what's going on. He's like, dude, I don't get it either. He goes, I'm going to give you the gold standard here. I'm going to give you a referral to the Mayo Clinic Gold Health Unit with Holly Gales, or whatever I think was her name, doctor down in Mayo Clinic, and I'll order another evaluation, and maybe your family will understand. So I did that on my 40th birthday. That was the only opening they had. My 40th birthday, I had to go there, and we thought, you know what, because my ex accused me of lying all the time in these evaluations, so my doctor and I were like, why don't you let her be in the room? So I go, great idea. So I got to be in there for an hour, say my piece. My ex-wife, Amanda Ray Lawson, now said why she thought I deserved this. And after all that, the doctor came back, and the report said, Jay, and I wish I would have recorded this phone call to this day. I still remember the doctor called. Holly called me, my wife, my ex-wife, and said basically he's got no mental disorders. He needs no medications. I'm not on any medications, doc. And also that he doesn't need to come back and get another evaluation and just follow up with counseling. I think that's what they tell everybody. So my ex disagreed over the phone. She says, you're missing it. He needs to be in a 20-day psych ward.
And where was that one?
That one was done at the Mayo Clinic, like the world standard for mental health.
In Rochester?
Yeah, that's for
Oh.
yeah, Mayo. Sorry, yeah, Rochester, world famous Mayo Clinic. And this is what my or my physician's assistant Travis says. This is how I'd sell it to him. This is like kings and queens fly in here for mental health and care, and I'm going to send you there to get an evaluation. And I got that report, and if you pull up my file and have time, you can pull up that report from Molly that I tried to use in my court case to show that I'm a totally logical and rational and safe person.
Okay.
We're at 20. How are we doing? So it's 2:20. So I don't want to. Go ahead.
All right. Do you think you have a mental illness?
No, I'm just a unique, fun guy.
Okay. That's fine.
And I'm enjoying the freedom. I'm enjoying the freedom of not having all these rules and being myself, my true authentic self.
Yeah. Have you ever had any trouble with depression?
No. I'm always a very positive person. I run 3 businesses, tons of employees. For all I've been through, I've done I've done pretty well. I will say it that way.
Okay. You have any trouble with like excessive anxiety that makes it hard to
Nope.
function?
Nope. I think just a normal. I was a full-time dad. I had 4 kids. I had employees. I ran up as many as 800 goats in my goat rental company, coordinating all that. And goats are a tough animal to keep in a fence. I'm on the news, WCCO, Care 11, all that kind of stuff. And there was a time I was like, man, I am a little stressed out, So I went in and or asked the doc. He's like, I'll give you some. I think it was Wellbutrin or Zoloft, and you'll see that, in my charts or whatever. But actually, when I was in the psych ward in Mercy Hospital, they're like, maybe you're feeling too good. We're going to recommend not taking anything. And I was like, sure. So it's, and it was good to learn, when you're on those tools, I think those medications should be used to kind of help people try to get through. But I learned, through counseling and training my mind and how to feel and how to talk, that I don't need to be on prescription medications all the time. Yeah, I'll definitely say it slowed me down a little bit. But I also like to have my high energy so I can chase goats in landscape. So I also don't want to be too throttled. And since that psych ward stay, I have not been on any medications to this day, despite going through some very, very hard times.
Okay. Do you ever see things that aren't there or hear voices?
Never. No voices.
Okay.
And totally see everything clear as a bell.
Okay. Do you have any history of head injury or bad car accident or anything?
No, I know other people going through that, and luckily God has not had that one. But I have never had any. I don't think I have not had any head injuries.
Okay. How much alcohol do you drink?
This is this question. This is a tough one for a lot of people to answer. And I don't feel this. Let me ask you, how much alcohol should I drink to pass this test? Sorry.
No, isn't that kind of a question?
I know, I'm just giving you crap, Doc. I do not have a problem with alcohol. Actually, I was going to have some bartenders test in my court case that I'm not an alcoholic. I drink responsibly, anywhere from not drinking at all for months to having fun once in a while on New Year's to... I don't know how to... I feel this question is a very hard one to answer for anybody.
Okay.
I don't know how you fill that one out in your bubbles.
Okay. I don't have bubbles.
No, it used to be like 1 to 5, 5 to 10. Trust me, I filled out the... They don't do that anymore?
When did you first start drinking? How old were you?
What's that?
When did you first start drinking?
Yeah, I was a really good kid. I actually didn't drink till I was 21 until I went to Mankato, Minnesota State Mankato. Shout out to them. And then
I started drinking there a little bit, with some parties and stuff, but I actually was a really good kid, and I still am a good guy.
Use any marijuana?
Now that it's legal, I will say yes.
When did you first start smoking marijuana?
Do I have to answer that? I don't know if that's a fair
You
question.
don't have to.
Can I? Wait, is that going to affect my Rule 20 here? Okay. Well, I'm going to decline to answer that question. Or would that look bad to activist Judge Sarah McBroom?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Use any other drugs?
Nope. That's one thing I can say for sure. I've never done meth. I've never done any prescription drugs. I've only done, marijuana, THC, and alcohol. I haven't even done mushrooms, Doc.
Okay. Never got into that.
No.
Pain pills, opioids, or anything?
None of it. And
Good for you.
Thank you.
Okay. Let me get a little history. Where were you born?
Fairville, Minnesota. May 31st.
Where'd you grow up?
Fairville, Minnesota, the majority of my life, until I turned 40-ish, until all this happened, and I got expelled, and now I'm currently up north trying to figure out where I'm going to land in the Grand Rapids area. Renting right now.
Okay. Did you finish high school?
I did, and I also went to college at Minnesota State, and I changed my major 3 times and still got out in 4 years with a degree in biology, with an emphasis in ecology, and a minor in chemistry.
Okay, good for you.
And I did continue schooling after that. I went to South Central College, and I got some business degrees. I didn't actually get an actual degree, but I should have got a degree for how many years I was there to learn how to run businesses successfully. I have a company called Aqua Eden, where I build pond waterfalls and fountains and natural swimming pools. I have a goat company called Goat Dispatch, where I deploy goats to naturally, eco-friendly, take care of vegetation all over the state. And then I also launched the third company called the Orange Manny, where I basically like a handyman, but I also work with kids and pets and having fun in life.
Okay. And you're divorced?
Yes, officially it took almost 3 years, and it was a nightmare, and I think I have one of the worst divorces ever in the state of Minnesota that I've been documenting.
And you have 4 kids, you said?
Yep, which I still can't see, and I got false allegations of an HRO, and it tears me up that I'm still missing my 4 children, and they miss me, and it's an actual nightmare. And I miss them, and they miss me, and they're using these kind of mental evaluations and this and that, and they're weaponizing the courts, they're weaponizing the mental health field, and I feel that shouldn't be used, and I just want to speak up against this, and that's one of my main causes. And then getting fair rights for parental alienation, which is very actively going on in my situation. Thank you.
Where do you live now?
I am currently living in the Grand Rapids area, renting at a beautiful spot, and then I got I'm on a job site. I got a couple job sites I work at remotely, and I'm a contractor, and I go where the work is.
All right. Let's get on with this eval.
Oh, I thought this was the eval.
Well, yeah, the interview part. Now I'm going to read you a brief story. Then based on that story, I'm going to ask you questions about how the legal system works. Here's the story. 2 men, Fred and Reggie, are playing pool in a bar, and they get into a fight. Fred hits Reggie very hard with a pool stick. Reggie falls and hits his head on the floor so hard he nearly dies. That's it. That's the story. Fred and Reggie are playing pool. Fred hits Reggie. Reggie falls down. Let's say Fred gets arrested and he's charged with a crime. Fred gets a lawyer. Fred's lawyer is called the attorney for the defense. What's the job of the attorney for the defense?
Sorry, this story has just kind of got me a little giggling and scrambling here a bit. So who hit who? And Reggie, I love
Fred hit Reggie.
So Fred hit Reggie with a pool stick?
Yep.
And then, sorry.
Fred gets a lawyer
Fred
called the attorney for the defense.
So
what's the job of the attorney for the defense?
So this is, sorry.
What does he do?
I'm sorry, I'm getting and this is not looking good, but I'm getting a little scrambled on the story. So why would Fred hit Reggie, but he goes and gets a lawyer to protect himself?
Is that what his lawyer's doing?
Well, it's supposed to, basically lawyers are supposed to protect and defend you and take you to court and try to, or help you in the courts court situation?
Okay. There's another lawyer involved in Fred's case called the prosecutor. What's the job of the prosecutor?
Oh, yeah, the prosecutor is the ones that are against you.
Okay.
And that would be Cassidy Villeneuve and my goat. Which one are we talking about? What case am I in right now?
Well, it's about the mistreatment of animals.
Yeah, the alleged mistreatment of my goat. So I'll stick with that one because I have a lot of active cases of false allegations going on right now. So the prosecutor for that would be Hadley and Cassidy Villeneuve and Jacob Foshold in Itasca County.
Okay. Back to Fred and Reggie.
Oh, back to them.
Fred's attorney tells Fred he's been charged with a crime called aggravated assault. In order to show Fred guilty of aggravated assault, the prosecutor would have to prove that Fred knocked Reggie down with a pool stick and that he meant to hurt Reggie badly. In your own words, what would the prosecutor have to show to prove Fred guilty of aggravated assault?
Yeah, that he intended to do it, right? And purposely did it. It wasn't an accident. He didn't just turn around accidentally and saw a pretty girl and hit him in the head, you know?
Alright. Fred's attorney tells Fred he'd be charged with a less serious crime called simple assault. This could happen if the prosecutor shows that Fred knocked Reggie down on purpose, even though he didn't mean to hurt Reggie when he did it. In your own words, what would the prosecutor have to show to prove Fred's guilty of simple assault?
Yeah, I guess that he didn't. That's a really weird scenario. That he pushed him down, but he didn't intend to. Is that what you're saying? Or he didn't purposely? Sorry, I guess. Sorry. This is. I'm not used to assaults. I've never assaulted anybody, and I'll just say I've never been in an assault situation. So these are a little different than outside my scope for the example. I'll say it that way.
Okay. Let's say Fred's case goes to court for a jury trial. What are some of the jobs of the jury?
Yeah, they sit there, they listen to testimony. I've actually been a juror in a high-profile case, so I know exactly. Yeah, they sit there, listen to evidence, they listen to witnesses, and depending on the type of jury, whether if it's a misdemeanor or felony, you'll have a different number of jurors in there, and you give a ruling and you give it to a judge, and sometimes the judge follows your recommendations, and sometimes they don't.
Okay. At Fred's jury trial, what are some of the jobs of the judge?
Yeah, the judge is supposed to kind of sit back and be the referee and kind of make sure the court procedures are going along fine. And from my understanding, they're not supposed to really jump in and give their biases. They're just supposed to kind of be directing things and making sure that everyone's playing fair in the courtroom.
Okay. Yeah, to talk about him like a referee, that's a good analogy.
Thank you.
Okay, let's say Fred's found guilty of either aggravated assault or simple assault. Depending on which crime he's found guilty of, what's likely to happen to him next? Like, what if he got aggravated?
So then there'll be a sentencing, and then the judge typically is involved in the sentencing.
Yeah, and what would he get?
Well, I haven't.
For aggravated.
I guess I haven't studied aggravated assault. You talking like how many years or the fine, or what are you talking? I mean, is that the kind of?
Well, what do you think would happen if he got found guilty of aggravated?
Yeah, he'd be charged with some, whether it's jail time, whether it's a fine, and it depends on if he has an activist judge. He might get totally thrown out. I don't know. I guess,
Okay, jail time and maybe a fine.
Yeah, if it's a good judge, let me put it that way.
Okay. What if he got found guilty of simple assault? What would he get?
Lesser charge, maybe some parole, probation, maybe some community service. If I was the judge.
Okay. Let's say Fred is thinking about pleading guilty to simple assault. If he pleads guilty to simple assault, what will he admit to having done?
Yeah, I believe he admitted to pushing him down, but he didn't intend to hurt him. Or I guess I'm trying to figure out what that. I'm still a little stuck on that one. That is weird. I don't know how they're. Yeah, or like with malicious intent. I mean, if that is. Yeah, that's kind of how I'm understanding it right now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he hit him once. He didn't sit there and beat him to death.
Yeah, there you go. That's, right? Yeah, no, that's a good way to describe it.
Okay.
Yeah.
If Fred pleads guilty, can he still try to convince the judge that he's innocent?
Well, it depends. So Fred's going to plead guilty. Are you talking like an Alford plea or some of these other types, or?
Whatever. If he pleads guilty, can he still claim to be innocent?
Yeah, there are certain which people have. There are ways that you can still plead guilty while you're innocent, just to get out of it. But that's one option. Otherwise, he can also go to an appeal and do the appeals process.
But generally, if he pleads guilty, can he still try to convince the judge that he's innocent?
No, you don't usually want to say that to a judge or a jury. That's usually a bad thing to say.
If you plead guilty, you're kind of done.
Yeah, kind of done.
Yeah, kind of done. Now, if he pleads guilty, he would give up some legal rights. What are they?
I guess it makes his appeal really suck. Chances. And, if he pleads guilty, they read all these rights in court to you. If you plead guilty or, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I watch a lot of court stuff, so I've been,
okay.
Yeah.
What does he give up if he pleads guilty?
He gives up a lot of his rights and his freedoms. And
what kind of rights?
His ability to defend himself, future trials, trying to have, it'd be, if you were innocent and you pled guilty, it'd look really bad.
Okay, he gives up the ability to defend himself.
Yeah.
What else does he give up?
Let's see here. What else does he give up? He pled, I guess the right to kind of, the way I understand it, to have a good trial experience again, or even have another trial.
Okay.
And he'll get those charges on there. He'll stay on his record, and that's why I don't think anybody should even do a plea deal if you're innocent.
Okay. Now I'm going to tell you some more about Fred's case. I'm going to tell you about two separate facts, and I'm going to ask you a question about which fact is more important to tell Fred's lawyer. Fact number one. After Reggie pushed him, Fred thought he saw Reggie reaching for a knife. Or number two, before going to the bar, Fred picked up a paycheck at work and took his girlfriend Julie to the baseball game. Which was more important?
The one with the knife, because that's more dangerous.
Okay, why is that important?
Because it fears for his life. Where the other one would probably really piss him off that he's hanging out with his girlfriend, more emotionally stressful, but the other one's more physically stressful.
Okay, here's two more. Number one. At the bar, there was a country and western band playing in the room next to the pool room. Number two, Fred himself called the ambulance because he could see that Reggie was hurt very badly.
Yeah, number two.
Which was
two for sure. Yeah, even though I love
why is that important?
Because they're, Fred called the ambulance. Because he shows that he still cares about Reggie.
Okay.
And it wasn't, if he really hated him or wanted to destroy him or malicious intent, he would have bet him, or like I said, beat him a couple times with a pool stick and left him for dead.
Yeah. Okay, here's two more. Number one. Fred had been living in the same apartment for the last 6 years. Number two, the bartender told Fred that Reggie had been in other fights in the bar.
Yeah, that would show that he would have. So number two would be more important to tell the lawyer because he has a history of violence.
Okay. And how would that help Fred?
That would help Fred. That Fred was more justified to hit him with the freaking pool stick. Or not justified. That's probably a bad way to say that. That he had to defend himself, or the right to defend himself. It doesn't really matter where. He's got a kind of a stable living situation, but I would say that's not as important as the other one.
Okay, here's two more. Number one. At the time of the fight, Fred was frightened because Reggie was acting like a tough guy. Or number two, at the time of the fight, Fred had been getting along well with his girlfriend Julie.
Say that number one again? These are just some weird...
At the time of the fight, Fred was frightened because Reggie was acting like a tough guy.
Yeah, that would be more important. So that shows more reason why he'd want to, use potential force because he felt more physically threatened for his life and safety. And I think what's his name needs to get a new girlfriend.
Okay, here's two more. Number one, at the bar, Fred had drunk a lot of beer before the fight with Reggie started. Or number two, Fred and Julie ate dinner at a restaurant before they went to the baseball game.
So again, number one would be because he's not probably in the right mind and or whatever and drunk and unfortunately they let a lot of bar brawls go on like at Zorba's and other places, and I don't think it's right. But yeah, that would be more dangerous and shows, I believe, versus going out to dinner with his girlfriend that he should dump.
Okay, now Fred has to make a legal decision. Fred's lawyer says there's two ways to plead, and there's good things and bad things about both. Here are Fred's choices. Choice number one. One choice is that Fred could plead guilty. The prosecutor has talked with Fred's lawyer and has made him an offer. If Fred will plead guilty to the less serious charge of simple assault, the prosecutor will drop the more serious charge of aggravated assault. But Fred would have to serve a sentence of 6 months in jail. Choice number two. The other choice is that Fred could plead not guilty and have a trial. At trial, he could be found innocent and get no punishment, but this is not likely to happen. Instead, he'll probably be found guilty of either aggravated assault or simple assault. If he is found guilty of aggravated assault, he could be sentenced to as many as 10 years in prison. You just heard about Fred's choices for dealing with his legal problem. Let's say Fred is a friend of yours, and he wants you to give him some advice. What else would you want to know before you gave him advice?
Yeah, I'd like to know the evidence against him. I'd like to review the evidence. I'd like to know if he's in the Itasca County court system with biased and activist prosecutors and judges. And I also, and this is actually a very interesting and fascinating question, Doc, because I also tell Fred, hey, Fred, do you know if you plead to a lesser sentence and you get a little misdemeanor there or whatever, but then if you get another one, it's called stacking. They can stack them against you, and this is that trick that they use to get a lot of people in the system. So I would tell Fred, I know this question is very slanted, how it said that, it's unlikely that he would get off on the case, so that he should take a plea deal. If he was truly innocent, I think he should try to go the jury trial route and not have anything on his record like I'm trying to do and have a blemished as clear as snow record like I am. Does that make sense?
You're jumping ahead here.
Oh, sorry.
Now what do you think Fred should do? Plead guilty and take the deal, or plead not guilty?
I guess it depends if Fred did it or not, and again, it all depends on the facts. Did the other guy have a knife? Did he, threaten him? Did, all that. So I'd have to know that, it's all should be about evidence, Doc. But in a good normal working system where you trust judges and trust the prosecutors, then maybe that might not be a bad option, and if
well, let me say it this way.
I don't know how to.
What would be the advantage of pleading guilty?
Yeah, he gets a lesser sentence. Doesn't it's kind of like gambling, I guess. You put it all. You know what I'm saying? It's a gamble, and so he gets to go away, and it's done, and that's what they try to sell all these people on. But then they keep trying to get you with the other misdemeanors, and I see that happen to so many people in life, and it's sad. Especially if he was innocent. And then again, you'd have to know the facts, Doc. And you throw me a lot of different scenarios here, and I don't know which ones are true.
Okay. What are the disadvantages of pleading guilty?
Yeah, I think I just answered that, didn't I? I already didn't.
Sorry.
I could say it again, but I don't want to go over our time.
What's the disadvantage of pleading guilty?
The disadvantage of pleading guilty is then, remember we talked about in the other questions, he really kind of screws himself if he ever wanted to try to change his mind later on in life, and not have these on his record. And then also, pleading guilty stays on your record, and then they have that stackable ability that not many people know about.
Okay, got it. We've talked a lot about Fred's case. Now I want to ask you some questions about your situation. Compared to other people in trouble with the law, you think you're more likely, less likely, or just as likely to be treated fairly by the legal system?
I think I'm very less likely. I do not trust the legal system in Minnesota at all. That's why I got to make sure. And that there's two ways to win in court.
Why?
Because
Why are you less likely?
Because I have multiple evidence. I mean, even in my divorce trial, I think I had up to 45 or 35 or 40 people that want to vouch for my case about me and the kids. My ex only had one person show up to trial, and she still got everything. She got the kids, she got the house, she got everything, you know. And so I'm very do not trust the legal system in Minnesota. I'm sorry to say it. I have to say it that way. And I understand Mary Hahn was involved in my divorce, and she is also involved in trying to sue me on the goat case I call Goatgate up in Itasca County by working with.
My only edit to this assessment, I had to edit out their name so I didn't get another false restraining order violation. I'll see you two in court again soon. Hope you enjoy Tennessee. I, for one, don't miss you in Itasca County and other rich bully lake bullies like you. Cheers. You weirdos. Still looking forward to getting Blank's calls to the sheriffs and put that on the internet after my data requests. And also getting the transcripts on how you guys lied in court multiple times. Okay, back to the Rule 20 evaluation, as normal.
Next door. So, and then also, you know, the evidence of my Goatgate case, when you look at it, a lot of the body cams muted out at very key points. The officers are texting each other, and you know, I don't get to see the date of seizure. I don't see any body cams. Body cam footage is missing. It's looks like yeah.
Hold on just a second here.
Oh, the free meeting's ended. Thank you for choosing Zoom. Oh, we guess probably gonna have to go back in again. Uh-oh, I lost the doc. Must have went over the free. I have to pay for the paid version here, probably. How do I get back in? I think I'll click the link again for him. You should have warned me on that. That's why they want to be at 45 minutes or less. We're at 50 minutes now and 19 seconds. That says I'm waiting for Craig Stevens to get in the personal meeting room again. While we're waiting, I'm going to warm up the skid loader. Still waiting for the dock. Got the heater on high. Still no dock. What happened? He also had a phone number. I gave him my cell phone to call. He put in the email that he could call me. We're gonna get the skid loader nice and toasty. Don't you know? Well, while we're doing that, I'm just gonna keep filling time because this is what a Toastmaster is supposed to do. You never want dead air when people are listening. So I'm currently watching a dark-eyed Junco still eat some seeds in the grass that I expose while I work on a 151-foot retaining wall in a snowstorm to cross-validate all my other posts. Just gonna joke a little bit here since the doc's not online. I don't know if he had to go grab a stiff drink. Seems to be laughing a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I guess, you know what? I'm going to wait for him to reach out to me because he's the one that's getting paid for this, and I'm the one that's not getting paid while I sit in a skid loader and not get to work on my wall. But at least the heater's going. Turn that on high. It's getting a little chilly out here. waiting. Still don't have the docket. It's 2:48 p.m. Still says waiting for host to start the meeting. I'm not getting any phone calls. And the heater is not as warm as the T64, I'll tell you that. But it's way warmer than my 1995 skid loader. Oh, I'm missing good working hours right now. Working time. But at least I didn't have to drive to Rapids in a snowstorm. And since I'm pretty much 99.9% sure that this is going to be on Northern Lights Transparency, I want to give a shout out to Northern Lights Transparency, trying to bring transparency back and accountability. And a lot of it involves recording and knowing what your rights are. Can you record in the Itasca Corny Car House in the common areas? Do you have the right to ask officers to turn on their body cams? Do you have the right to your own data that they collect that they don't give you? The Chapter 13 statutes that I'm not getting. My exculpatory... Oh, hold on. No. There we go. Wait. Hold on a sec, Doc. This meeting is being done transcribed for AI Companion. Hold on. While I was waiting for you there, I turned the heater on to warm up a little bit in the skid loader. Hold on, I'll turn my camera back on because I don't know if this is just.
Okay.
Yeah, hold on. I appreciate you. Yeah, I understand. I understand even in mental, like when you're in a counselor, you got to physically see them right on a screen. Otherwise, I could be faking it, right?
Yeah. Okay. Moving on here.
All right.
Sorry for the interruption.
No, yeah, it must. I see you ran out of your free trial. You might have to pay for the paid version, huh?
I did.
Okay.
Do you think your lawyer will help you more or less or about the same as lawyers usually help people?
My public pretender or real lawyers? Sorry, the one. Okay, the one I have currently now is John Abras from Bemidji. I still don't entirely trust. I don't say what the word is because they have a lot of cases. They got a lot they're going on. Probably like you probably got to get to your next mental evaluation. So a lot of times they don't have time to put to your case. So I feel at a disadvantage that I can't get a paid attorney for that. He's way better than my failed Joel Geffhart, who tried to sabotage me and didn't stand up for my Rule 20 in court. So I feel more comfortable that way. But I'm also making sure I'm very active in my case, and I understand what's going on. In case John Abras is not adequately representing me, I can fire him at any time. But as we're learning, when this Rule 20, you can't fire your own attorney. You got to get a Rule 20 according to these biased activist judges.
So then you think this guy's about the same as most attorneys?
I'll tell you three good attorneys that I had: Alan Peterson, Adam Laudemeyer, and Nisi Strand. In my divorce case, I trust all them, but unfortunately, I can't afford them anymore because everyone's taking all my money in all these court matters, and even Mary Hahn is still not releasing my $60,000 for my divorce, which I still don't know how to get.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'm talking about your current attorney. Do you think the current attorney is going to help you more or less or about the same as attorneys usually help people?
I don't trust any attorneys. Can I say it that way? But I believe this one's going to help me more than the last, but I'm still making sure I cover all my bases. I don't know, is that a fair way to answer it?
Okay. He's an okay guy.
Yeah, he actually talks to me after 5. I'll give, he talks to me on the weekends. He actually went through my data. Joel Geffhart didn't go through any of my data after months. I mean, you can definitely, and I can tell you're a good doctor too, just by how you're doing your stuff. So there's a way to tell when people take their job seriously.
Okay. Next question. Some lawyers expect their clients to tell them everything about how they got in trouble with the law. Compared to other people facing charges like yours, are you more likely, less likely, or just as likely to tell everything to your lawyer?
I don't trust lawyers. I don't think anybody trusts lawyers. But you even trust lawyers. But I've learned now, they're the ones coming at me for Goatgate. Show me your cards. I have all my, I know I'm innocent. You're the ones coming at me, so you show me your evidence that I get to disprove and qualify, and then show how your officers are corrupt and all that. Does that make sense?
I'm talking about your lawyer. Are you more likely to tell everything to your lawyer, or less likely, or about the same as other people.
Yeah, no, oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, Joel Geffard, I wouldn't trust. I'm glad I didn't tell him everything because he sabotaged me. But I feel more comfortable with John Abris. But again, I told him, the key parts of why I'm innocent and continue to be innocent. But we're using the state, their evidence that prosecutor Cassie Villeneuve shared with us, and that's what we're going off of. So we're going off of what they have, and then there's two ways to win in court. You get your case thrown out on procedure because they did an improper animal seizure. They didn't take blood samples. They didn't use certified scales, all that other stuff. That's one way you win in court. Or you go and you go to a jury and they find you innocent. So there's two different ways to win in court, Doc.
Okay.
And I'm trying the first one.
Okay. Compared to other people charged with the same offense as you think you're more likely, less likely, or just as likely to be found guilty?
I believe they have a target on me from these activist judges and corrupt sheriffs from Rice County, Itasca County, so I believe I have to be on the up and call all my bases and make sure everything's presented well, and I continue to show their corruption. So, is that a fair answer? I wish I could trust the courts. I used to trust the courts till I was 40 years old, and now, unfortunately, the state of Minnesota, and it's coming all over the news. Even Donald Trump's tagging us on Facebook every other day. We got a mess going on here, and I'm trying to help clear it up.
Okay.
In the courts.
You think you're more likely to be found guilty?
I believe I shouldn't be found guilty. I am very confident I'm going to be found not guilty, but again, I don't trust these people like I don't trust any of these people that are against me. I'm trying to put faith and trust back into the public defender's office because I think they've been a little bit too weak for a long time, and the prosecutors are too nasty. So I'm trying to help the other side with a bunch of other people but again, I don't trust the courts, and I don't trust Judge McBroom. And I don't judge Carrie Anderson. So this is and I mean, I had two objections to this Rule 20, and I know you got some of my emails, and I know I type stuff, and it's hard, and I try to joke about it. I know I said why don't we do our rule evaluation at Boulder Tap House at the bar, because basically when they're messing with you, if they're playing stupid games, they're going to win stupid prizes. Thank you. Go ahead.
There we go. Compared to other people found guilty of this kind of crime, you think you would get more punishment or less punishment, or about the same if you were found guilty?
They're trying to lock me up and throw away the key. I mean, Cassie Villeneuve at this last case tried to say I didn't get my last Rule 20, and she wanted to throw me in jail, Doc, until I talk to you. That's not nice. Very not nice. So, again, I feel I have extra target on my back, and I have to be extra smart like a fox.
Okay.
And they're using this Rule 20 as a way to jam me up and delay me because all my other cases are locked up, and I can't file into cases. I can't file myself. I can't even file stuff because my public defender. I can't fire my public. It's like Reggie and his girlfriend. Like I can't get rid of my girl. I jokingly say like I can't get rid of my public defender when I want to because they throw this Rule 20 crap on me that I'm not competent to fire my Rule 20 when I think I know more than probably most public pretenders.
Okay, last question. Prosecutors sometimes recommend less punishment if defendants agree to plead guilty. Let's say the prosecutor makes an offer like that in your case. Compared to other people facing charges like yours, would you be more likely, less likely, or just as likely to plead guilty if they make you a deal?
I ain't pleading guilty for nothing because I'm innocent. I don't care what the deal is. I want my name to continue to be white as snow. So bring it, prosecutors.
Okay.
And I do believe I'm targeted. So, and I don't want to have that on my record, and then they get you for another little thing, and then they stack it, and it turns into a felony, Doc. It's not cool. And I know so many people are coming to me saying I should have never taken a plea deal in Itasca County, Rice County, all this other stuff.
Okay.
How are you hanging up? How are we both doing?
We're good. We're getting there.
Okay.
Okay. I think I have any other questions for you.
Well, I still have some questions for you, and I don't know if we still can do that. And yeah.
That's fine. Go ahead.
But no, I want to make sure you're done because I have a tendency to talk a lot. I like to talk a lot. I like to talk fast. It doesn't mean that I'm crazy. I also like to write long letters, use emojis. I'm just a unique individual and I know a lot of people try to use that against people in court, that I need a Rule 20, and that's what they do. And it's unfair. I think people should be their unique, authentic self as long as you're not hurting anybody else. And I love and I care for animals. I've always been an animal lover, and I love my dogs. I miss my horse Tancho. I miss my goats, and I miss my children. I want my life back. And this is not nice what they're doing to me.
Yeah. What are the charges against you?
The charges against me? Yeah, they have, like, I don't know, this is the part where Sarah McBroom tried to trip me up in court, like, I don't know, in like 16 counts or 15 or 14 felony counts, and they're like, oh, look, he doesn't remember, like, I don't understand. I mean, is it one count per goat? Allegedly they stole, the Itasca County Sheriff stole roughly 50-ish goats, so why is it not 50 counts? That's the part that I still haven't got a clear answer on. But then they also trying to get me for improper animal disposal, even though I used raw dog food diet for my dog, like sled dogs. Just...
15 counts of what? 15 counts of what?
Animal torture, neglect, and improper burial. Or slash burning. Improper burial / burning. If you can believe it, Doc, some of the news organizations claim that I burned my goats. And I got all kinds of death threats. I got all kinds of stuff. My life has been absolute hell because of this false shit.
Okay. So this all has to do with the goats.
Yeah, well, and then I also know, my perjuring, paper terrorist, parental alienating ex-wife is trying to say that I neglected my beautiful horses, Tancho or Merlin, and the unicorn, Lily, and so I'm still fighting that case. And then she has, a false HRO that she granted that I bruised my children when I never did, when it was my mom, Marion Langsleg, in a hotel parking lot in Lake City. So when people look me up online, I look like an absolute monster right now. And even, girlfriends or people looking me up or their kids, I'm sick of it. I want it to be off there, and I want it to stop. And then also, my ex is also trying to charge me for 2 counts of harassing her on kids' calls when my kids were crying and fighting to try to get on the computer with Dad. And I called the Rice County Sheriffs for some relief, and she ends up switching it around on me, saying I harassed her. This is like beyond, this is like movie kind of shit.
Okay.
Thank you. Are you a counselor too? Like a regular one?
Used to be. Now I just work for the courts.
Oh, okay.
I'm kind of semi-retired.
Okay, so I'm sorry. Usually I save this for my regular counselor.
You were talking about, you obviously talk fast, and you tend to think real fast too. Does it feel like you're...
Yeah, I'm a very fast talker. Yeah, I took Toastmasters. You want to learn to talk on your feet. You got to, you don't want dead air. I'm in the media a lot. I'm a social influencer. And I learned in business, you got to learn how to talk. I used to be a very, very quiet, shy kid. And I learned very quickly, if you want to be a businessman, you got to be able to learn how to talk. And then I'm learning, if you want to be a pro se attorney, you got to even talk even better.
Yeah. You ever have trouble sleeping, or can you go for a couple days without sleep? Or...
Well, no, I sleep wonderful. I always slept well. I work hard, and there'll be times, I've been pulling some all-nighters trying to finish this wall for the snowstorms and stuff. So, sometimes there are different sleep schedules, but I sleep normal and healthy, and all my other parameters are healthy, and I'm a very healthy dude for my age.
Okay. Do you ever do kind of goofy stuff or dangerous stuff that you know you shouldn't be doing?
That's a really relative question. Do you think bareback riding horses is goofy or dangerous?
No. I mean, like, spending all your money.
Oh, yeah. So they tried to get me for mania, and this shout out to Robert Pribble. And my doctor, so my doctor, Travis Rothler, explained this really well. They're trying to get me for mania. So he goes, Jake, mania is like going to a strip joint and spending $50,000 or buying a new truck and all this and that. So they tried to get me for mania for giving allegedly, $20,000 or $30,000 to a man in Kansas. No, the man in Kansas was Kansas Max, my goat guy, and I owed my goat bill for my winter feed bill, and I had to send him, I don't remember, $20,000 or $30,000. And the predatory attorney, Mary Hahn, and them tried to use that against me, and that's what my doctor explained. That's mania. what I was doing was business, and so I know, you know what I'm saying? Like,
You owed them that money.
yeah, I owed them that money. You know, but they tried to skew me, and that's why these predatory attorneys like Mary Hahn should not be in the courts, because that's what they tried to say in court, that I'm spending large amounts of cash and sending them to people. I'm like, no, it was to Kansas Max for my winter goat bill, because I usually bring my females and my babies down there because they winter better down there in the winter. And I owed my fee bill, but I know, and so that's what mania is. And I'm not manic, even though I can talk forcefully and fast. And I'm sick of it. And I also been in many Tamara, I have my whole family down trying to explain to my family, my mom, my dad, my ex-wife, cluster B personality traits. You can have traits. Everybody has traits. Everybody has narcissistic traits. Everybody that. So my mom, my ex was trying to classify me with all of them in the cluster B family: histrionic, narcissistic, all of these other ones. When I've never, ever even come close to having that. And then here's another thing I'll just tell you, just a fun factoid. If you're ever in a mental institution, they have to, according to the doctors, show a couple things that you trend on. So they showed, like, when you took all these tests, you have a little bit of narcissistic tendencies but you don't qualify. You're not even close to the threshold for a narcissist. But as my former counselor, Steve Johnson, would always tell me, everybody has different traits, narcissistic traits at times, and I like to say it's confidence, because I think I'm a pretty smart, good-looking business owner that learned how to conduct himself in life, and people might take that as narcissist, but I'm a very caring person, and I help a lot of people in need. And I'm also very self-deprecating, and usually narcissists don't do that.
Yeah, okay. Now, I've been asking, any questions you have for me?
Yeah, I guess in the future, like if I didn't trust you or the other ones, is there a way to bring someone with me? Have my public pretender or defender sitting with me? Could I have another mental health professional sitting on the session? What are some rules to protect me if I had concerns about you?
You can ask for a second opinion.
Okay, but I can't have anybody else in the room with me?
No, it would be another individual evaluation of you, but you and your attorney could ask for a second opinion.
Or what if I was like a young teenager? What if I was a young teenager, very scared, and know that I could go to jail or whatever for my Rule 20? Could you have someone sit there with you or could I have somebody else sit there with during this evaluation or help watch this evaluation?
Well, you could. They'd have to sit off to the side and be quiet.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then also, can I record these?
No.
Why?
Not allowed.
Why?
I don't know. Not allowed.
No. Do you know the laws of
I wouldn't agree. Well, I wouldn't agree to that.
But do you know the laws of Minnesota? Do you know the recording laws, Doc?
No, I don't.
Okay, all you have to do is be in the conversation to record legally. So in some states you can't do that. So basically you can't put a recorder and put it in a woman's bathroom and then walk away because you're not in the conversation. So that's illegal. But if you and I are talking to each other, I'm physically talking to you, or looking at each other, staring each other in the eye, I have every right to record. Is how it works.
Well, but I wouldn't agree to that.
But it's the law is the law, dear Doc. And I actually have many other people that have been in this situation that have recorded their Rule 20s and share them with each other. So just to let you know, I know it's and this. I'm just telling you, this is my litmus test too. Even my public defenders, Joel Geffhart did not want to be recorded, but my second one, Joel Abris and Walter Prescott in Rice County, are okay with being recorded. So anybody that was willing to be recorded, it shows a level of trust, accountability, and respect.
Yeah.
Cool?
Okay. Here's what's going to happen. I didn't lie to you. I've been taking notes here about the stuff we talked about.
Okay.
We did the Fifth Reggie thing about court.
Yep.
I'll review some medical records, and then I write a report that goes to the judge.
Okay.
Your attorney will also get a copy of my report.
Okay.
Then there'll be a hearing, and you kind of go from there.
Yeah, so how fast do we get that report? And this is another thing they tried to pull on me last time with Kenning. She called me right before last minute on a Saturday or Sunday to try to jam one in there. And I believe I'm in court. What does your paper show when I'm in court for this? It's kind of
I don't know if you have another court date, do you?
No, I do. I believe about this. I thought. I mean, this way.
When's your next court date?
I'm asking you. You're the one that has to get the report done by then. I believe, from my understanding, but I have a date kind of in my mind roughish. I'm just curious if it shows up on your documents to make sure you get the report.
I think they told me they wanted it done by December 6th.
Bingo! That's, I believe, the day.
Okay.
I believe I'm in court December 6th, so I want to make sure you get it done, because otherwise they can't come back at me and say I didn't comply and throw me, Cassie Villeneuve throws me in jail and I get to watch the Vikings with the boys.
No. If I don't get it done, they'll be mad at me.
Oh, okay, so I'm off the hook.
No, that's my problem.
Okay, sorry. I have to be hyper vigilant in all this, I'll just tell you that, and they forced me into this.
Yeah. No, that's why I was getting kind of antsy about, you messing around with all the emails and not.
Oh, not messing. No. You did. Hey, let's go back. Let's correct the record. It took. You didn't. How long? You didn't contact me right away. You didn't.
No, that's true. I was on vacation.
Thank you, Doc. See, that's what they try to do. Like, and I tried to reach out to Mary Kenning right away, get her number and all this and that, and that's really weird. There's some. I just want to tell you, there's some people that get roll 20s and they put the contact information in there, and there's some that they don't. Like, because some of us are like, we want to get a hold of you, get this shit over with, and get it on with it. You know what I'm saying? But I was trying to give Sarah McBroom 2 chances to withdraw and not make this Rule 20, so I had to put it in her hands and let her make the mistake, and I'm learning a lot when you're dealing with the activist biased judges. You're kind of playing for the appeal sometimes, because I don't know how this is going to go down, so I got to show I gave that judge every opportunity to do the right thing, to make the right call with you, so don't take that as that I was purposely trying to delay you. I was waiting on the judge, so I was in her court, literally.
Yeah. Okay.
But we worked it out, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate you. I thought it'd be more comfortable or better to. Sorry, more bad English, but in person, I prefer to be.
Yeah, I prefer to do them in person too.
Yeah, but
it's just more. It's just I don't know.
Yeah,
it's nicer.
No, I just talk to a counselor or anybody. It's better than a phone call with the video. At least you see my face. You can see me in a nice little skid loader here, or whatever. But yeah.
No, this worked fine.
Yeah. No, and it does. And actually, Zoom option for courts has been making it much more accessible. And I'm trying to get, people to not fear the court system and all this as much, and just try to, get on with it. But yeah, I'm hoping you get your report done. I hope it comes back good. I'll have to say honestly, and I hope I can get my cases going back, and I can get my life back on track, and get my innocent name back.
All right. Wait, December 6th is a Saturday.
Is it? No way. You know what? Maybe. I don't want to use this against me on my Rule 20. I have so many dates that they are always changing it, but I could have sworn there was something about December 6th here. But long story short, it's your problem, not my problem. I can just work on a wall, right? A retaining wall.
I'll get this. This will be done by next week, and
and
have your hearing and go from there.
Yeah, and I'll just say it's another disadvantage, because when you have a public defender, it has to go through the public defenders, and a lot of times they'll sit on emails and you don't get it right away. So is there a way you can CC me or copy me legally, or just send it to me too as you send it to John Abras? So I
send it to the court. The court distributes it.
Oh, so they can mess with me
You get a
together.
copy from your attorney.
Okay, so you're going to send it to the court administrator, the clerk, Sarah McBroom?
Yeah.
Who exactly? I've been really trying to study the court side of this. So who do you send it to exactly? The Itasca County Court Administration, Lisa, the head of the courts?
Yeah, it doesn't go to a person. It goes to court administration.
Okay, so you file it in the e-file system?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, because I see you copy down there, and I'm pretty smart on the e-file, the Mindy system, and all the different systems I've been forced to do to try to get my good name back as a pro se, since I can't afford a regular attorney after I already spent $80,000 with 3 other good attorneys that couldn't get me relief in the biased courts of Minnesota.
Okay.
Thank you, Doc. I know you're hanging in there and you can't get away.
Well, and you want to get back to work.
I do. I want to get back to working on this wall. I don't want to get fired. I want to make money, and So, and I told the boss I wasn't sure if this was going to take 20 minutes or hours, and And I know we're going longer because typically these are 42 or 45 minutes.
Yeah, well, they can go longer. It doesn't. Depends on how much the person talks.
Yeah, and you can see I talk a lot, but
that's okay.
Yeah. And I want people to be able to feel comfortable to talk a lot, type a lot, as long as you're not hurting anybody or hurting others. Everybody deserves to be their unique self.
All right.
Okay.
I want to thank you for talking with me, and I'll get this done and out, and you can get on with your business.
All right. Appreciate you.
Take care.
Take care. Bye now.
Bye.
All right, you done? See if this worked. Leaving this in here for an hour. Hope it's still recording. I think so. All right, folks, this looks like it's going to work. This is one of my proudest productions ever. A couple quick, anytime you listen to like an audio again, you're always like, oh, I don't know if I have that problem. Like, oh, I should have said that, or I should have said that. I should have done a shout out to Reggie when they did the little Reggie story, my favorite artist of the Northland. Miss you, Reggie. You know how to crush it every time you're out there playing your music. And miss everybody. And the sun's coming up. I need to get this uploaded, and I need to build the wall. Build the wall. Cheers.